Hi, my name is Eric Guzman. I'm a developer on the Google Web Designer team. I'm very excited to be talking to you about one of our features, the CSS panel. This is a developer-friendly feature that requires some familiarity with CSS or cascading style sheets, and hopefully will be educational for those who use our tool and are learning CSS. In this demo, I will briefly go over an overview of the CSS panel, editing styles, showing an element's computed style, and adding classes to your element. Now, let's get to editing some CSS. The CSS panel is located on the right-hand side along with the other panels. It is composed of a Style Sheets section that lists the current style sheets in your document, and a Styles section. The Styles section is driven by the current selection on stage. This means you can inspect the styles associated with an element by selecting it. This feature strives to be familiar to web developers and designers who have spent some time using awesome tools like the Chrome DevTools or Firebug. These tools have revolutionized the way websites are built, allowing you to achieve pixel perfection by simple live edits to your style sheets. This is what the CSS panel strives to provide within Web Designer, with the benefit of being able to save your edits. Now, with the CSS panel, we can edit existing CSS values. Simply click to allow editing of the value. Here we'll just change this to 1. We can add properties and just go ahead and press tab to accept the auto completion. Just give it a blue border. You can click to edit selectors as well. By hovering over a selector, a thin red outline will appear around the elements on stage that are targeted by that selector. In this case, only one element. When modifying class selectors, the CSS panel will automatically add the new class to the selected elements to ensure that they apply. If you look at code view, you'll see that our containing element now has my new class instead of the previously applied class. And the CSS panel also allows you to inspect an element's computed style. Simply click on the computed style button on the bottom right, and you will see the computed styles for this element. You can choose a general category for your styles, or you can use the filter to be able to narrow down the results, because there are a lot of CSS styles out there. And you can switch back to the rule list by clicking the bottom right. And the CSS panel also works with multi-selection. Let's get rid of our content so we can take a look at how to use multi-selection to create some hover effects. Now, let's say you wanted to create a navigation bar or something like a series of buttons. Let's use the tag tool to sort of sloppily draw in some elements that will be our buttons. Now the first thing I want to do is make these elements uniform in width and height. So by clicking and dragging with the selection tool or pressing Ctrl A, you can select all the elements. You'll notice that the CSS panel is not showing any CSS rules. If you've selected multiple elements, the CSS panel will show the rules that are common between all the elements. In this case, there are no shared rules. So let's go ahead and create one. Go ahead and click the Add CSS Rule button. And let's change the name of this to My Group. Let's make it uniform in width and height. Let's give it a border radius. And let's go ahead and give it a background gradient using the background image property. And since we're going to be transitioning this, let's give it the transition property too. All right, now let's use our spacing tool to space things out evenly and also align them to top. Great. Now we have our navigation. Okay, now that we have the static look that we want, let's add the hover state. Now I want to take advantage of CSS transitions and transforms here, but I'll use Web Designer to give me a feel that I want. Now single selecting one of these elements, let's go ahead and use the 3D rotation tool and modify the transform origin. And just rotate until you get the desired look. I kind of want to make it look like it's falling down, like that. So we'll go ahead and grab the WebKit transform property that was created just now, and we'll use that in our hover state. Now we also have to use the transform origin. So let's go ahead and copy the transform origin, select a couple of our nodes here, and add the transform origin to our CSS. Now this guy's just hanging out down here, so let's go ahead and restore him. You can do that by double clicking on the 3D rotation tool, and he's back in his place. Alright, now for the hover state, just go ahead and add another rule. We'll just use my group since it's a class that's already on these elements, and add hover. Now adding :hover means that when the mouse is hovering over this element, it will apply the styles that are defined in this rule. So let's go ahead and add our WebKit transform. Now press enter. Alright, so now we have our hover state. To play around with this, hit the preview button. This will launch it in a browser. Alright. And as you hover, you get your transitions and transforms. This is great. Alright, and that concludes my demo of the CSS panel. Again, this is Eric Guzman from Google. I hope you found this helpful, and thanks for using Web Designer.